So back in February, we would have started a new program for this financial year called the Focus Roads program. And this program is focused on a number of the roads that when we would have started the Mill and Pave program last year, we recognized that there were roads that were a little bit more complex than the Mill and Pave program. So we categorize these programs where we would now be able to work with the utility companies and the contractors to be able to do more rehabilitation of the roads. Tonight we are on one of the roads in Eagle Hall where we are actually doing the first phase of the paving, and the other side of the road will be obviously milled and in due course also paved. We've assessed about 60 roads on the program through PESL, who is the contractors engaged to be able to do the overseeing of the works. We have about 5 contractors that have now been working across the country, both in the rural as well as the urban corridor, to be able to bring some relief in a number of the various communities, the majority of them being residential roads. Of those 60 roads that have been assessed, about 25 have been completed to date. The others are at different stages. Some are ongoing, or as soon as the contractors are completed on this second phase, they will shortly start the remaining works. We've spent about, or will spend about 23 million in total across the entire program, which will also include a number of the highways. We did a highway maintenance program, which has taken up a budget of about 10 million out of the 23 million. And the public would have seen areas like the Coymond, Dighton area. You would have seen the Top Rock roundabout area also being done, as well as the Wildy Triangle. And on the latter, we had a number of issues on that last program in the Wildy Triangle, primarily as a result of issues with the water mains in that triangle. And it took us a little bit longer than we would have hoped to be able to resolve those issues. I know there was a bit of disruption for the businesses and certainly the commuters, but I think the coordination between the utilities was able to allow us to minimize the impact that was made certainly in the area. And I'm pleased that that road has now been reinstated, and we have a bit more work to do just in tidying up in and around that area over the coming weeks as well. So the Focus Roads program is pretty much in motion. The public can expect obviously the remaining roads to be done in the course of the next couple of weeks, weather permitting of course, and the contractors will continue to work with us as they are tonight, working during the night to be able to ensure that we're able to complete these 60 roads over the course of the next few months. Yeah, I think in fairness, wherever there is rehabilitation, reconstruction of roads, you're always going to get dust. That is just a factor that I think the public is going to have to address. What we have tried to do with the contractors is to put in place a program where they use their water trucks and they're able to wet the roads. And they try to do that as frequently as possible. So I can't say that we've had complaints in this area, but you know, if you are milling the road, you're likely, you're taking up the asphalt, you're likely to get the dust coming into the home. So it is a temporary inconvenience, but I'm sure that the residents along this particular stretch, for instance, in Eagle Hall, when they wake up tomorrow morning and they realize that they have a newly paved section of this road, they're going to forget very quickly that they've had dust for the last couple of weeks on this particular stretch. So we do apologize for any inconvenience, but again, it is a necessary part of what we're doing in terms of improving the road infrastructure network. I think in fairness, there is a lot of work going on in the country, and it's not just the work that we are doing within MTW, but there are a number of housing projects. There are a number of private developments that are taking place across the country. And I think it's fair to say that the contractors are stretched as well as the utility companies. We have the $230 million project going on in the Scotland district. It's essentially the same contractors, the same utility companies in all cases working on the same projects. They're working with us on Focus Roads programs. They're working on the CAF roads in St. Thomas, the Cane Garden to Bridgefield, the Shop Hill, the Prior Park, and they are obviously working on other roads across the country in the various districts as well. So I think it is fair to say that there are challenges in terms of capacity that all of the entities are experiencing at the moment. Am I satisfied? I believe that there is still a lot more to be done, and we try to coordinate as much as possible. You would have heard the supervisory consultant speak to it just now. We hold regular meetings with the utilities, and why? Because we try to troubleshoot as much as we can on a weekly basis to make sure that we can minimize the disruption. I can't tell you what would happen if we were not keeping regular meetings. It would probably be even more chaotic. But we've tried in the certainly last few months and stuff in particular, to engage with the utilities even more. For instance, Light and Power has had issues with the auger truck, which will basically be digging their poles. So in some cases, you have to move poles in districts, you have to repair poles. When their equipment obviously breaks down, or the access to that equipment breaks down, then that delays maybe the water utilities going in to be able to complete their end of the work. So we're working on it, and we're trying to coordinate better to be able to minimize the disruption being caused to the general public.